Tracking storms across Texas right now, we have seen up to grapefruit-sized hail reported with these storms that are in Killeen, Texas. Now, this storm has kind of tracked down to the south, now paralleling 35, and what we're seeing here is a potential tornado. It is tornado warned right now, going into 183, okay? So let's get some information on this storm right here, and then we will get you caught up with what has been going on over the last few hours. Again, I told you grapefruit-sized hail from this storm over the last few hours. In the meantime, put your questions and your comments in the comments section from wherever you're watching this, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, and we will get to those questions as well. We told you earlier that Austin, Texas had a really good chance for storms today, and it looks like we almost nailed that. We have these storms just outside of Austin right now. We also have another storm outside of San Antonio, Texas, and we have another storm just a little bit farther out to the east near College Station. Okay, so we're tracking several different areas of storms all around the southern central side of Texas, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. I'm pulling up my radar so that we can get some more information on this storm right here. Okay, it is up. Here we go. Here's your severe thunderstorm warning update. Right now we have a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:45, another 20 minutes on this storm. It's warned for golf balls right now, but this storm earlier was warned for baseball-sized hail. Yes, you heard that right. Warned for baseballs, but popping out grapefruit at times. I mean, that is crazy. Look, we know it's baseball season down in Texas. And as we like to say, everything must be bigger down in Texas because we're seeing that in terms of hail sizes as well. This tornado warning warned for 2-inch size hail here, about 1,400 people in the path of this potential tornado. Again, just going right down this highway right here. I think this is Highway 183. So this is where this tornado is taking its path. I don't know if this is straight south or more to the southeast. Let's see what the National Weather Service has to say. They're saying straight south. Now here's the kicker with this storm. 10 miles an hour is the storm motion. It is a slow mover. So here's what that tells me. It has plenty of time to organize, right? That's number one. So this has the potential to sustain itself for quite some time. Number two, what that tells me is whatever hail this is producing, again, up to 2 inches, but potentially larger than that, now that's going to be producing that hail for a while in the same location. It's not moving anytime soon. So up to 2-inch size hail in this location. If we go a little bit farther down to the south, we have a little bit of rotation on this storm. It looks okay from radar. It is warned for $half size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds, and Bertram, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and Burnett, all included in that severe thunderstorm warning. All right, checking the chat here. What does our chat say? We have questions about Austin. Austin, Texas is the area west of Austin more prone, so it's going to be farther out to the east. If I had to choose a side of Austin, I'm choosing the east side. But let's go up to Austin. Let's see exactly what's happening in this area. So here's Austin. This is where we have that, I think it's a severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock this evening, including Austin, Georgetown, Round Rock, Cedar Park, all included in this. Now you do have a severe thunderstorm warning farther out to the west. Again, it's going to take a while to get to this area. And again, that was the severe thunderstorm warning we were just talking about that is warned for $half size hail. So that is this storm that's just to the north of Kingsland right now. But we have these hailers all across Texas. Look at this. We've got one near Junction, Rock Spring, Campwood. Let's check out this one near Rock Spring because what we see from this, anytime that we get a hatched severe thunderstorm warning, what that means on our system is that it is a very significant impact to the area. So we've got golf ball size hail is what it's warned for in Rock Springs right now. This goes until 5:45, so another 15 minutes on this. Let's see, can we go any farther west? We do. We have another one. You go a little bit farther out to the west, and let me zoom out so you can see exactly the part of Texas that we're looking at right now. Okay, here's those storms up to the north and west of Austin. We've got another storm out here warned for, let's see, And again, it's hatched, so we know that it's warned for something significant. 2-inch size hail in this area as well, so up to 2-inch size hail. So we've got a lot of hailers out there right now. Let's go back to those storms closer to 35. Okay, let's go back. Got to wait for me to drag the radar over. So here we go. Here's 35, right here. Here's Round Rock, Austin, and there's those storms farther up to the north, traveling down 183 right now. So if this can sustain itself traveling to the south, yeah, we could see those storms right in the center of the city. Maybe Round Rock is that next location. Here I can give you an idea of how long it's going to take these storms to reach you. Again, these are moving pretty slow at 10 miles an hour right now. So if we go 10 miles an hour, I mean, that's a very slow mover. These storms are not getting into New Cornhill until about 6 o'clock. So that's still quite a ways outside of Austin, right? That is about, let's see, if we take this warning right here, still about 30 minutes outside of Austin. So it could be another hour, 2 hours, 3 hours until these storms get closer to you. So you've got some time, right? Unless we see another one pop up in this area, you have some time. Now let's go farther off to the east. Over here to Franklin, Bryan, Texas. There's Lufkin. Let's see what this one is warned for. This is warned for half-dollar size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind speed. So not terribly impressive, a little bit farther out to the east. Really, the most impressive storms that we're seeing right now to the north of Round Rock, to the north of Austin. Really impressive storms here. Now, we have had a lot of reports. Now, let's bring this back. Let's bring this radar all the way back about 45 minutes here. And let's go all the way into Killeen, Texas, and let's get some storm reports here. So KB Heights, 2-inch size hail. This is in Copperas Cove, but Copperas Cove is also where we got that 4.5-inch size hailstone as well. Let's see if that'll pop up on here. All right, that's 1.5 inches. 4.5 inches, there we go, 4.5-inch size hailstone. That is the size of a grapefruit. That is a massive stone, larger than the size of a baseball. But even here, I think that this is coming in from the the forest department, excuse me, the Park and Forest Services said that a few baseball to grapefruit size hailstones in Copperas Cove. Very, very impressive here. That is massive hail. Oh, just an update. I don't know if I've said this already or not, but our meteorologist earlier said that this was going to be a 4-star hailstorm. So they have already said that at least 4 stars is what we are getting out of this hailstorm. And just double checking if there is any updates to that. No, we have 4 stars. So coming from our lead mapping meteorologist, we've currently got a 4-star storm, 4-star map for Copperas Cove, which is just west of Killeen. I always want to say Killeen. Just west of Killeen, they've had a report of 4.5-inch hail. So it was that report that really gave us a lot of information on this storm right here. 4.5 inches. I mean, that is really, really impressive. Alrighty, we'll move off of this. Let's go back to real time. So this was about 45 minutes ago. That hail report came in at 4:04. So that was a little over an hour ago at this time. We still have a tornado warned storm. So let's go all the way right here. Okay, you can see the inflow. Now this is getting really messy because you can see the storm farther down to the south that's going to really mess with the inflow that's coming into this storm right here, but there's the rotation, you can see it. What we're watching for here is inflow coming in here, rotation right here in Briggs. Let's see what this severe thunder, or what this tornado warning is saying right here. 2-inch size hail and a potential tornado. I think that this is radar indicated. Yes, the National Weather Service is saying radar indicated rotation here. They don't have any confirmation that this is on the ground. However, I do think that we had confirmation that it was on the ground about an hour ago. So we know that this storm is capable of producing a tornado. It already has produced a tornado this evening. Let's see what our other storms doing. Get a little check around the radar here. Okay, we still have some really good hailers out to the west. This severe thunderstorm warning right here for golf ball size hail, and the farthest west one for 2-inch size hail. So we've got some hen egg sized hail. That's what you get after a golf ball, is you get those hen egg sized hailstones. What other storms do we have? I'm sure there's people watching from Dallas on here. Dallas, your evening commute, you're dry, no storms in your area. I know that we had you on the map today for some potential storms, and we could still see storms in Dallas. Just because this is all to the south of you right now does not mean that we can't see storms later on, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. That in Oklahoma we can get to in just a minute. What are our other questions that we have right now? I'm glad I talked about Dallas. This is in Fort Worth near downtown Julie Brown. Not quite sure. Monica asked a great question. Monica, we love whenever you comment, so thank you for commenting, Monica. What is the population for these areas? That's a great question. So let's get down into it. We can talk about, I think that this is the most populated area right here, just to the north of Round Rock. This population under the tornado warning, about 1,400. Now, it's a small tornado warning right here. It covers a very small area. But if you go to the severe thunderstorm warning, you're going to get a lot more people encompassed in this. So let's find that severe thunderstorm warning. 2,600 here. And then much more encompassed in this severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 5:45. Over 100,000 people impacted by this. And I think that that is because it includes Killeen. And I think that, you know, we get closer to some of these bigger cities, obviously we're going to be encompassing a lot more people here. Now, this storm is moving to the south, and I think the biggest city after that is Round Rock. I know a lot of people, we've got Georgetown, Round Rock, all included in the path of this storm here. But again, if this storm is moving about 10 miles an hour, and Georgetown is about 10 miles from this storm, we still have a long time until the bulk of this storm gets to you, okay? So you've still got about 45 minutes. I'm playing it on the safe side. I'm going to say 45 minutes to potentially an hour. Now, if you go all the way to Round Rock, you've got closer to 2 hours. And if you want to go all the way down to Austin, you've got even longer than that. Now, this storm is about 40 miles away from Austin. These slow movers take their time to get all the way down to some of these bigger cities. So you've got plenty of time to prep and make sure that you are prepared for these storms. So the population impacted at the moment, not terribly impressive. However, it is still important to talk about, right? The population that could be impacted in the next few hours, that will be much greater. Great question. What other storms are we watching right now? We can kind of go farther out across the U.S. and see what's going on in Mississippi. Now, out in Mississippi, Amory, Mississippi, Calhoun City, we've got this severe thunderstorm warning warned for 1 inch. Quarters out here, marginally severe. And you know, this is what we expected. We expected the farther east that you go, the farther north that you go, the smaller those hailstones are going to be. And I did think it was pretty interesting. So this is in southern Pennsylvania that got rocked the other night with some really high winds the other night, like 80-mile-per-hour winds. And I think they still have a significant amount of people in Pennsylvania without power right now. I checked earlier this morning and it was like 250,000. Like, that's a lot of people without power. This severe thunderstorm warning warned for 1-inch size hail, so that's quarter size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then we've got some ping pongs mixing in here. Again, this is south central Pennsylvania for Man and Rainsburg. Ping pong ball size hail possible in this area. But the biggest hail down in Texas, what were we talking about earlier? Everything's bigger in Texas. what do we have going on in Buffalo right now? Severe thunderstorm warning for small hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds. So let's get back down to Texas. Let's go back down to the Austin area. Again, just north of Austin is where we are watching for the greatest and most impressive hailstones and even that tornado warning. We've got another storm outside of Bryan, Texas. I think still warned for half-dollar size hail. Yes, I am correct on that, half-dollar size hail. We have a brand new tornado warning from this storm that's going into Liberty Hill right now. Liberty Hill, now they have brought down the potential hail size here. However, more people impacted, about 2,800 people impacted by this tornado warning. So going from Briggs to the south into Liberty Hill, this tornado warning goes until 6:30 this evening. And let's see what the National Weather Service is saying about this. They're saying radar indicated rotation, so they have not confirmed if anything is on the ground or not. In this case, storm chasers and your pictures, if you see this, send it to the National Weather Service. It's pivotal, or send it to us, and it's very, very pivotal to get that information out to them. Got 1-inch size hail. All right. So that's what we're watching for right now. Storms just surrounding the Austin area. San Antonio, we have a storm out near you. I mean, it's very far to the west. This is near Rock Springs. We've got golf ball size hail is what this is warned for, and it's moving straight to the east about 15 miles an hour. So it's coming your way as long as it doesn't change course. But again, it's so far away from you. Move this over so you can see it a little bit more. Okay, there you go. So this storm is so far away from you. If it continues to move to the east, I mean, it's like, what, 90 miles away from you? It's moving very slow, about 15 miles an hour. It's got a long time if it can sustain its strength until it gets to San Antonio. We go. Okay, what other questions do we have on this Thursday evening? We've got lots of fun communication in the chat, just saying that we've got people saying they stay on top of Doppler radars that are available, and it's nice to understand the data and analysis in conclusion. Oh, so good job. Thank you. We appreciate that. We appreciate you hopping on here. Where's everyone watching from this evening? Are you guys mainly in Texas, or are you guys across the country? I know that we have people that watch across the world sometimes. Here I see one good question on here. I'll get to this question right here. Coming from Enrique, asking anything for Fort Worth? Not right now, but since you brought that up, because that's a great question, when will storms come into DFW? Let's take a look at that. So we'll get to our forecast here. It's going to take a minute for my graphics to load and switch over from the current radar over to the forecast. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the forecast, and we're going to say, when are storms coming into Oklahoma? When are they coming into Fort Worth? We've got storms right now out in East New Mexico, and I think that's something to keep an eye on, okay? Alrighty, here we go. Brief overview here. What we're watching for right now are those storms down in Texas, down in between Dallas and Houston, right? So that's in the Austin, the San Antonio area. Very, very broad region here, but that's mainly what we're watching for. But we have this entire upper area here, this northern side of the risk that has not seen any storms yet. What about those storms? Are you watching those storms out near New Mexico on the eastern side? the northern side of the Panhandle into Texas and Oklahoma. I think that this is what we could see as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So this will be a late event into the overnight hours, into early Friday morning. This could impact your early morning commute, especially if you are an early riser. Now, Oklahoma City most likely getting hit first. However, Dallas follows shortly thereafter, not only with one round of storms, but we could potentially see 2 rounds here. And because this lasts farther into the morning, so what the National Weather Service does is they have a cutoff time in the morning where they have that day 1 risk versus that day 2 risk. We're still in that day 1 right now. But as we get further into tomorrow morning, we get into that day 2 risk. Right? And that's what you see here, which is why Dallas is still included in that slight risk, or excuse me, that marginal risk for tomorrow. Now, we still have some pretty good chances for large hail here. You can see by about 8 o'clock tonight, if we can get any storms forming in this area, it's a great chance for giant hailstorms, okay? What we're going to be watching for is anywhere from Dallas all the way into the southwestern portion of Oklahoma. So that's talking about Altus, Fort Smith, and these areas. That's where we're watching for the largest hail, but we have to get a storm in this area. So I'm quite interested to see if we actually will. No guarantees on those storms in that area. So if we can get a storm in this area, then we could get up to tennis ball size hail. That's definitely possible. It's very interesting. Can we get these storms to form? Can we get them to come all the way this far south into southern Oklahoma? If we can, we're going to see some pretty large hail. I have still up to softball size hail. Now, obviously, we have already seen that today. We've already seen over 4-inch hailstones. 4.5 inches is what we saw today. I have another hour-by-hour forecast that zooms farther down into to Oklahoma and Texas. Here we go. So it starts at noon because that's whenever we do our forecast. We do it every day at noon. But it's 5 o'clock, so we'll kind of go through this here. Okay, so things are still shaping up pretty much like what the models forecasted. Okay, so the models had storms down near College Station, down near Austin. It's pretty accurate to what's happening right now. Not as many storms as what I think they expected out to the east. So we don't have as widespread storm coverage here. We've just got some isolated storms here and there out to the east. And then we do have those storms out in the eastern side of New Mexico. So it's verifying pretty much. We're going to continue to see those storms down in southern central Texas all the way through the evening hours. So remember earlier whenever I said if these storms can sustain themselves, they're going to go into those bigger cities like Austin, like San Antonio, if they can sustain themselves. It looks like models want to have that happening. Models want that to happen, okay? So models are saying, yes, they can probably sustain their strength as they head into the evening hours. That's whenever our attention turns up to Oklahoma. Ooh, in Dallas, a 1 a.m. storm. I don't know if that was on there earlier. 1 o'clock storm down in Dallas. So this could be a very late night or early morning down in Dallas where your storms could come in around 1 a.m. That's something to keep an eye on there. So anywhere from Oklahoma City all the way down to Dallas, that's whenever you, that'll be your overnight risk, right? Anytime from midnight all the way to 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning is whenever we're expecting those storms. So there's your forecast. I know a lot of people were asking about DFW. So there's your forecast. Alrighty, what other questions do we have? AJ says, watching for PDR shops in Liberty Hill and San Antonio. San Antonio, yep, watch those storms out to the west. Here, let me go back to the radar. We'll pull San Antonio on here. So Camp Wood, that is your closest storm. I know that's far away. I know this is like, what is this, like 90 miles away? Out in Camp Wood, Texas. Here, let's check that. How far away is this from San Antonio? Ooh, I was very close, 80 miles. Depending on which side of San Antonio you're going to. So I'm gonna call that a win. What other questions do we have on here? Eric is asking, what about Houston? Houston, let's see, are you guys in the risk for tomorrow? You're not in the risk for tonight. However, you are at a marginal risk tomorrow. You go a little bit farther to the north or west, you'll get into that slight risk. So I think I have graphics on that. Hang on one second, and I'll see if I can get graphics for Houston. And then we'll just keep on going through these comments here. So as long as I see comments, we'll stay on. All right, let's talk about Houston. So that's today. There's tomorrow. Okay, can I zoom in here? I don't think I can. All right, Houston. This is your forecast for tomorrow. So by tomorrow morning, you're pretty dry. You are included in that risk. Now this is a marginal risk right here. It's a level 1 on a scale of 5. But your storm risk, your hail risk, your hail risk is going to be for anywhere that ping pong to golf ball size hail. Let's take a look at your storm timeline. It looks like storms will come around in the afternoon hours. So here we are at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. Really favoring the northern side of the city. However, maybe we could get some storms down in Houston proper, down in the southern side of the city through the late night hours tonight. So I know it's not tonight, tomorrow night. So I know it's Friday night. You've got plans. You're in Austin, you've got plans. It's Friday night. You want to go hang out with your friends. Maybe you've got dinner night with your family. Houston, I want you to be on alert for those storms because you will expect storms into the late night hours on Friday. Austin, very, very similar. Tomorrow night, let's see that storm come in once again. Ooh, yeah, Austin, right to the north of you by about 6 o'clock. So maybe your 6 o'clock traffic is going to be pretty bad because you've got storms on 35. So we're talking about Round Rock, Georgetown there. These storms, what did I tell you earlier? They are slow movers. They don't go away anytime soon. It takes a while for them to clear the city. So they're sitting in Austin once again as we head into the 8 o'clock hour. And finally, the worst of it is past you as the sun goes down, after the sun goes down, into the 10:30, 11 o'clock hour. So it's going to take a while for these storms to get past you, right? You may be eating dinner at home tomorrow night. You want to go to bed earlier? You've had a long week? I would keep those weather alerts on because you will definitely have some storms tomorrow night. Now the severity here, especially this clustered, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what we can get out of these storms tomorrow. Because the more clustered these storms are, you know, whenever these storms stay isolated, whenever they stay out on their own, kind of what we're seeing right now in Texas. When they stay out on their own, they have a really good chance to organize. They've got a lot of opportunity. They're moving slow. They've got tons of time to organize, produce that large hail, produce a tornado. When they get all clustered like this, it's really hard to get inflow in there. It gets really, really messy, and it's a lot harder to get that large hail out of these storms whenever they are so messy. All right, let's check on our storms down in Texas. What are we doing down in Texas right now? We still have an ongoing tornado warning. Now we are getting a little bit closer to some population here. So we've got about 2,800 people included in this tornado warning for Bertram and Briggs. They may have just expired it. Let's see. Check on radar scope. It looks like they have expired the tornado warning. So we are no longer included in a tornado warning. However, the severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:45. We've got about an hour on this severe thunderstorm warning. Now this is warned for $half-dollar size hail. We're going lower on that hail size here. And this is a phenomenal example of what I was just talking about, where if we take a look at what was going on 45 minutes ago. Ooh, I wish this went back even farther. If we took a look at what was happening 2 hours ago, you would see how isolated these storms are. 2 hours ago, these storms were very isolated and they were about to produce grapefruit-sized hail. But then, whenever they got all clustered and all confused and all messy, that hail size went down, and that is exactly what we're seeing now. Just very clustered storms here. This southern edge looks much more impressive. Let's go all the way down into this area. So the southern western edge, I guess it would technically be the western edge, does look a lot more impressive, but it is a little bit more isolated, right? It's got a good area for inflow to come in. We are now warned for baseball-sized hail going into Buchanan, Texas. So this includes Burnett, Granite Shoals, Kingsland, and Marble Falls. Baseball-sized hail here and 60-mile-per-hour wind speed. This includes about 2,400 people, so a lot more people included in this area. Again, this goes until 6:45. Very impactful, especially as people are about to head home. You know, a lot of people are hitting the road at this time. And that looks like the most significant storm with a big population. Now we have, if you go all the way out to the west here, up to 3 inches in hail size, baseball size hail, and 70-mile-per-hour wind speed out here. The population I don't see is very large out here. So this would be in, let's see. Near Sonora, to the west of Sonora, and between Sonora and Sanderson, Texas. So really, the most impactful storms that we've got going on right now, going into Marble Falls, Kingsland, Burnett. I want to see what this severe thunderstorm, this local storm alert is. This local storm alert, okay, LSR here for golf ball size hail. A spotter reported a lot of 1-inch hail with a few golf balls mixed in. This is out in Mason City, Texas. At 5:32, just happened about 20 minutes ago. So there's Austin, there's Round Rock. Let's check our messages. Got questions about going back to the Austin storms. Yeah, we can stay on these for just a few minutes because I know there's a lot of people tuning in from Austin, and I will try to move this over, oh, the other way. There you go. So that you can see all of those storms while I stand here. Because I know that's annoying. Sometimes I stand right in the way of that. Again, I'm producing for myself here. So sometimes we go back and forth, green screen to computer. That's what I'm looking at right here. One question about storms to the west of Del Rio. I don't have my radar pulled up for this storm next to Del Rio. Well, I'm using, let's see what, I'm using the San Antonio radar, so there is one closer. It looks like we could see some hail from this storm to the west of Del Rio. I'm kind of wondering, and you can't really tell it from this view, if we've got some rotation going on in there as well. So I would keep your eye on it. Again, it's moving pretty slow, so it's going to take its time coming to you. And it does look like, if we can play this out, it looks like it's moving to the south and east. So there we go. Moving to the south and east. So I think it'll miss you. Let's see if there's any other storms in your area. I think at least from what it looks like right now, these storms are going to miss you. You've got this one moving to the south, this one moving completely to the north. So I think that these storms right now are going to miss Del Rio. But keep your eye on it because you've got a lot of activity just around you. Storms can change their motion anytime. So keep your eye on that. All right, back to Austin. Again, the most impressive storm that we have going on right now is in Kingsland. And now it has been upgraded. Wow. This severe thunderstorm warning has now been upgraded for hail size up to 4. 1 second. Let's go back to the severe thunderstorm warning. There we go. 4 inches in size. Wow. So larger than baseball size hail is what we're watching. We're getting closer to that grapefruit range right here. Massive hail warned for Burnett, Granite Shoals, Kingsland, Marble Falls. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:45. And we have talked about this. I know we've talked about this many times tonight. I'm going to say it again. These storms are slow movers. Let me go back to this here. Get some info from the National Weather Service. There we go. 23,000 people potentially impacted by this here. Moving south this is the slowest we have seen all day. South at 5 miles an hour. This is a slow mover. So whatever hail that you've got for a while. These storms are not moving out of your area anytime soon. Let's see what this local storm report says. Okay, golf ball size hail observed near South Highway 29 in Park Road. This is in Inks Lake State Park. Let's see if we can get any pictures on this here. Okay, Inks Lake State Park. I do not see any pictures coming in, but this does remind me, you guys, whenever you get hail like this, if you safely take pictures of it, feel free to send it to us. We love to see those pictures. Looking for other hail pictures here. Now this, it looks like this was from today. Okay, let's see if I can show this to you. I'm trying to verify the date that this was posted. Okay, this is obviously not right now because we have some larger hailstones, but it is a gorgeous view. Let me share my screen one moment. Alrighty, can you see that? You can't see me anymore, but you can see, let's see. There we go. So this is what you're looking at here. is Inks Lake State Park. What they said here is they said marble-sized hail, but what we know now is that hail size is a lot bigger now. This was about an hour ago. So about an hour ago they were getting marble-sized hail. That has been upped now to at least golf ball-sized hail. However, this severe thunderstorm warning is warned for 4-inch size hailstones. Let's see this. 4-inch, yeah, 4-inch size hailstones. Alrighty, we'll take this down so you guys can see the full radar again. There we go. So that's the storm that we're talking about right now. Now earlier it was producing small marble-sized hailstones. Now it's warned for 4 inches. That's massive hail. And that does just show you how quickly things can change, right? So that's the most impressive storm that we have going on right now. Let's see if this local storm report, I think we already talked about this. Yes, golf ball size hail. Anything else? What's this storm doing? The little storm that could venture closer to DFW. What are we doing up here? Oh, we're moving straight north. You know, we just did a discussion with Derek. It's in a podcast episode on YouTube. It's called Hail Chatter. Go look at that. We talked about why Dallas is a storm magnet, why it feels like storms will just go straight into Fort Worth and Dallas. Let's see what this storm does. It's moving much faster than our other storms. It's moving straight north as well. Do you remember earlier how we were talking about that storms are moving straight to the south, straight to the east? Look, most of these storms, check this out, most of these storms are moving slowly to the south. This one, just a rogue storm, right up to the north. Let's check out this local storm report. How big is the hail in this storm? Got a 1-incher, quarter-size hail here. That was in Iredell. That was at 5:38, so about 20 minutes ago. And this severe thunderstorm warning is warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds and quarter-size hail. However, we just talked about that things can change very fast. So we'll have to keep an eye on this storm because it's headed into Granbury, Texas. Let's see how fast this is moving. This is moving north at 15 miles an hour. Now that does not seem fast, and usually that is not a fast-moving storm. But compared to the other storms that we've seen today that were moving at 5 miles an hour, this is a pretty fast mover. This thing is booking it compared to the other storms. So if this storm is moving at 15 miles an hour straight to the north, straight north, let's stop this movement. I don't want to give you guys a headache. We got 15 miles an hour. So this storm will be in Glen Rose at 6:29, Glass at 6:11. So we've got a while. If it can sustain itself, then we could see the storm up near Granbury, Texas. But we'll see if it can. We'll see if it can sustain itself. What do we have? 1-inch size hail right now. Yep. And that's out of the watch. I'm very curious to see what they'll do. All right, do we have any other questions here? A lot of people. Thank you, thank you. Well, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you. Really, we appreciate you guys watching. We love to get on here and give you guys updates and let you know what's going on across the entire country, especially whenever it's impressive storms like what we've seen today. So far today, we have seen hail up to the size of a grapefruit. That is 4.5 inches in size. That is massive hail. Now, one thing that I was looking at earlier, and because we are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn Live, we can talk about these things. We can talk about things that we've been looking at and things that we're interested in. Now, I do have to say this graphic is completely updated except for the date. How did I forget the date? So far today, as of about 30 minutes ago, we had 1 reported tornado, 26 hail reports, and 25 high wind reports. Now, so far, since January 1st of this year, we have had 689 tornado reports, 1,700 hail reports, and over 4,000 high wind reports. But a lot of those tornado reports all happened in April. Most of those hail reports also all happened in April. So April was very, very busy in terms of severe weather, especially for hail and tornadoes. Now we are off, it's the first day of May, we are off to a very active start in May as well. We've got, of course, all of those storms going on right now. And we also have storms, excuse me, do you guys hear my phone? We have storms ongoing right now, and we also have storms in the forecast for tomorrow and Saturday. So we are going to see those numbers grow as we head into the next few days. And I apologize for that. Can you guys hear that? I don't even know if you guys can hear that buzzing. Let's take a look at your local storm reports for today. There you go. Local storm reports for today. We've seen some hail across Kentucky, the northern side of Kentucky, southern Indiana, southern Ohio as well. And we've seen tons of hail reports across the central portion and southern portion of Texas, and then more of a wind event as we head farther up to the north. So it's mainly a wind event. This was yesterday out in places like Arkansas. Now here's your reports for today. There's your tornado report right there. Just north of Austin, Texas, just to the west of 35 there. Lots of hail reports out of this. What else do we have? Let's go back to that. I was interested in that graphic. Let's go back here. Lots of wind reports up in Ohio. 1, 2, maybe a few hail reports. A few hail reports across West Virginia as well, but mainly all of that hail activity has happened down in Texas. Right? That's what we've been saying. Everything's bigger down in Texas. Mainly the hail. Alrighty, going back to the radar here. Thanks for letting me talk about storm reports. We kind of nerd out over the data here at Hail Trace, and we love to talk about how many storm reports have we gotten in the last 24 hours? What about the last 30 days? What was it for the entirety of April? In Oklahoma in April, we had our wettest April on record. Tons of rain. Oh, Chris, I'm so sorry. What about Denver? When should we expect hail? Not anytime soon. You've got a while, I think, until you see hailstorms in Denver. Usually they fire off of like a dry line, right? And right now we have such synoptically driven storms, which means very wide regional storms. They're usually driven by an upper level forcing of some sort, whether that be a long wave or short wave of some sort. That's a lot of meteorology jargon to say it's going to be a while until Denver gets storms like that. That's going to produce large hail. Not in the forecast right now, at least. And I say that, I'm going to double check myself here and take a look at models. Let's see. What do we have for Denver? You guys could have some rain today. Got a high of 60 this afternoon. That was nice, right? Out in Denver tomorrow, it'll be 65 again, but you've got sunny skies, just a few clouds in the sky for tomorrow and Saturday, and then you may have some rain early next week again. So no storms today, no storms this weekend in Denver. But thanks for the question. Alrighty, any other questions here? So what are we seeing right now? A little update for these storms that are going on right now. I want to go back to this storm right here that's headed to the north. The severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:30. It's moving to the north at 20 miles an hour. It has picked up speed, so it's moving up to the north here. Let's get a timeline on this storm. Let's see. I saw 20 miles an hour and I was like, that's the fastest one we've seen all day. Usually our storms today, so far today, we've seen 5, 10 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. This thing is definitely booking it. Okay, Biloxi by 6:20, 6:27 at Glen Rose, 6:32. It'll make it to Bluffdale, and 6:42 in Tolar. So it still has a while until we get into some more of those populated areas like Fort Worth, Granbury, Texas. We still have a while, at least an hour, if not longer. Let's see. If this continues its track all the way to the north, it's got about 40 miles until it gets to Weatherford, Texas. So it's just to the west of Fort Worth here. These little isolated storms, they can move every which way, so they could change storm motion very quickly, so keep an eye on this. But we still have about 2 hours until we get to somewhere, about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, before we get to more of those populated areas, and then about 2 hours until Weatherford, Texas. All right, and what do we have down in Austin? Still, we have a while until we get storms down in Austin. Let's get one last look at this storm right here, because I think we do have a new storm report here. It is warned for 2-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds, about 7,700 people included in this risk right here. Buchanan Dam and Burnett all included in that severe thunderstorm warning. And last but not least, let's look at Serenata. I think that's how you say that. Just a 1-incher here. We've got quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts for about 4,000 people. This is still quite a ways outside of Round Rock, so let's see. This is moving to the south at 5 miles an hour, a very classic thing that we've seen today. So if we see this moving to the south at 5 miles an hour and we have another 20 miles to go, this storm is not approaching Round Rock for at least the next 2, maybe 3 hours here, and that's being really generous. It may take even longer. So it's going to be a while until those storms get to you. It's about 6 o'clock right now. We could still see these storms within the next few hours. Let's see, Bryan, Texas. Okay, let's take a look at this storm. Now this is looking a lot more interesting. The storm in Bryan, Texas, warned for ping-pong ball size hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind speeds. So this is impacting a lot more people here. We've got about 160,000 people included in this warning right here. This is again for ping-pong ball size hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind speeds. And there you go. There's your storms happening in Texas right now. Have I missed anything? I don't think so. And I think that's all of the questions that we have. Oh, we have one more about Granbury, Texas. Okay. So this is an interesting question because this storm now, let me get my bearings. Where is this storm at right now in relation to Granbury, Texas? Let's see. You guys love to test my geography and my pronunciation of town names. So we now have a severe thunderstorm warning for Granbury, Texas. So your question was about the hail size, right? So for this storm, you've got small hail right around the size of a quarter. We call this pocket change hail because most hailstones are going to be smaller than that quarter size. You're going to see those nickels, dimes, penny-sized hail all mixed up in the quarter-size hail. So as this storm moves to the north, it'll be closer to about 7 o'clock is whenever you'll get that storm in Granbury, Texas. As this storm moves to the north, it could produce some of that a small to medium-sized hail over your area. However, you are not done there. You have another chance for storms late tonight. So let's go back to our models. And let's take a look at your future radar for later on tonight. Give it a minute to load. And what I'm going to do is, because we've had lots of questions about DFW, let's zoom in. Let's go all the way in to Dallas here. Oh, all right. Computer, slow down. All right, right there. I like that. And let's go through the next few hours. What are you guys expecting over the next few hours? Now earlier, a storm tried to pop up on the east side of Dallas. This is the HRR model, HRRR. So some people call it the HRRR, some people call it the HRR. Some people, I would like my clicker to work. All right, so as we head into the evening hours tonight, you've got 7 o'clock, you're still severe clear. 11 o'clock, still severe clear. Look at that. By about midnight, you see storms start to pop up in your area. So this model is now putting storms on the west side of Dallas, southwest side of Dallas here. Could that impact Granbury, Texas? It's definitely possible. You know, you shift these storms just a little bit to the west, you've got storms, you've got severe weather, right? Now that will continue through the overnight hours tonight. So this is midnight. Try to move out of the way as much as I can here. 1 o'clock. Storms right over Dallas and just to the east of Dallas. 2 o'clock. Wait for it. That's just round one. By your morning commute tomorrow, look at all of that rain that you have coming into your area. So by about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, look to the north. You're going to see this soaker coming across southern Oklahoma. That will be moving down into Texas, and that could impact your late commute, lunchtime hours, so you have another chance for those severe storms tomorrow morning as well. Now, I think at this point, your hail sizes are going to be smaller. Anytime we see these clustered storms like this, you're going to see some smaller hail sizes for the most part, but you will have that low tornado risk as well as a high wind risk. So you've got several rounds of storms in the DFW area, especially late tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So that was a very long-winded way to answer the simple question, simple but very important question. How big do you think the hail in Granbury could be? So very simply stated, this storm right now could produce about 1-inch size hail, quarter size hail. It's not very big, right? Later on tonight, maybe we could get some larger hail out of those storms. So great question there. Any other questions here? We've got a lot of people joining in from X. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I do not think that we can see your comments on X. I think you have to go either over to Facebook or YouTube to comment, and then we can see it on either Facebook or YouTube. So let's go back to our radar. See what's happening down in Austin. We're kind of oscillating back and forth, right? Whenever we have such a large area for storms, that's just what we have to do. The most impressive storms right now, impacting the most amount of people, are going to be in Bryan, Texas, and in Burnett, Texas. So we're kind of bookending I-35 here. We've got one on the west of 35. We've got one on the east of 35. Another update on this severe thunderstorm warning, we do have tennis ball size hail possible with this warning, with this storm, and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This warning goes until 6:45, so we've got another 20 minutes on this. And let's take a look at some of the newest local storm reports. So these things that you see, these circles on here that look like hail falling, that's your local storm report. People have called in to the National Weather Service. Maybe they posted their picture on social media. Maybe it's a news broadcast who has let the National Weather Service know. Maybe it's your local fire chief, emergency manager, police chief that has let them know, here's what's happening in my area. So that's how we get a lot of these local storm reports. Observed near South Highway 29 and Park Road 4, we've got golf ball size hail. I think that we talked about this one earlier. That was about 30 minutes ago. And more recently, even more impressive, tennis ball size hail near the Buchanan Dam, okay? So this is in Burnett County near the Buchanan Dam. It doesn't say how this local storm report was reported. However, this storm is now warned for, what did I say earlier? Is it tennis ball size hail? Yes, still warned for tennis ball size hail. And again, it's moving very slow. So if they got golf ball size hail earlier and now they're getting tennis ball size hail, they're not getting much of a break here, if anything at all. And the other very impressive severe thunderstorm warning that we have is down in Bryan, Texas. Now let's get some information on this. Bryan, Texas, we've got this severe thunderstorm warning warned for ping pong ball size hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind speeds. So this picking up on the wind speed a bit here, 70-mile-per-hour wind speed, 160,000 people potentially impacted by this severe thunderstorm warning. And it is moving 15 miles an hour. It's still a very slow mover here. And I know that I talk about that a lot. What does that actually mean? It just means that people are impacted for a long period of time. I'm reading some of your comments on here. Another question about Lake Worth, Texas. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that is in the northwest side of DFW. You've got a while until storms get up there. You're in the clear right now. No storms in your area right now on the northwest side of the city. However, if this storm continues its northward path, it could impact you later on. We've got another severe thunderstorm warning near Hemphill, outside of Pineland. What is this for? Nothing impressive. $50 size hail. Alrighty. And that's what we're seeing right now. Okay, so I'm going to jump off of here. I don't see any more comments or questions that I haven't gotten to yet, but we will come back on, or we'll at least at the very minimum post what we see on Facebook, and we'll keep you guys updated on these storms as they continue to track to the south. As I mentioned, they're very slow movers, so we don't have a ton of updates right now. However, we will continue to update you all as we go throughout the evening hours. We will have meteorologists staffed all night long. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 potentially meteorologists here at Hail Trace right now, staying way late after work. But we also have meteorologists that will be staffed across the city through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning, throughout the entire day tomorrow. If not one, maybe 4 or 5. That's just kind of how it goes. So we always have meteorologists staffed, mapping and tracking these storms. They will also be sending alerts if you have the Hail Trace app to your phone to make sure that you know about the largest hail in your area. All right, thanks for watching us this evening. I appreciate it. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. We have a noon show tomorrow, so watch our forecast at noon, but we'll see you back here if we have any big storms later on this evening. All right, hit that follow button and we'll see you tomorrow at noon.